Hello everybody. Today's lesson we are going to look at something that we practiced in theory, but we're going to look at it in another setting. Again, what I want you guys to do. Previously we looked at planning one meal. Today I want you to look at planning another. If we are going to be feeding a small group of people, let's say just our family, 6. If you want to make it a bit bigger, go for it. If you want to feed a group of people, first, I want you to plan a meal. Then I want you to select your ingredients and list them out, just like we would a shopping list. So our first part, select a meal, anything you want. Second part, plan out a shopping list. What would you need to buy to feed these people your meal? Pause the video and let me know. Pause the video and make sure you've written down your meal and your ingredients. So hopefully you've paused the video, you've written out your shopping list, and you've gone to the shops to grab them. You haven't actually gone to the shops, but you're prepared to. I, on the other hand, have prepared my shopping list and did go to the shops to collect my items. So based on a suggestion that we had in a previous Zoom call from Isaac, I have looked at making spaghetti bolognese for a group of people. So let's have a look at the ingredients that I collected today, that I purchased today. So let me work on my camera. I apologize. First up, we've got our Legos sauce. I bought 4. We probably won't need 4, but my thought is it's good to have some in the cupboard. Next, we've got our spaghetti. I went for the normal San Remo ones because it was there. It was the first one I saw, and the price wasn't too bad. To go with our sauce, I got some minced meat. And to add some other things into our minced meat, I was going to add some mushrooms. And I also bought olives, but I don't think I'm going to add them to our spaghetti. It's just I needed olives. And one other thing, because I thought, we're making a big meal, it's always nice to have something on the side. I got some mozzarella sticks. So, what I want you guys to do next, pause the video, write out a short description about the method, how you would go about cooking your food item. Once you've written out the method that you'd undertake, come back and we're going to start cooking our food. So we're back. We're going to start making our spaghetti. I'm going to use my Brita filter to put some water down for my spaghetti to start boiling. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't enough water for our spaghetti to cook. So I'm going to come over to my tap. I'm just going to get some regular tap water for the rest. Boom. So, going to try and tilt it down a little bit. We're going to open up our spaghetti first. I'm trying not to just rip it and have it go everywhere. Try and do it somewhat gently. It's ripping down the bottom seam, not the top seam. Please don't spill everywhere. Okay. Now, full transparency, I'm not going to need this whole spaghetti. You know what? We'll cook it and have a look and see how it turns out. So we'll cook the whole thing. One of the running memes online is that you shouldn't, it's illegal in Italy to crack the spaghetti. So I'm pretty sure that if you put it in and then just sort of leave it tilted up, eventually it will sort of cook and soak and prepare itself on the way down. Okay, next up, again, you might have a different way, your parents might have a different way as to how you guys cook your spaghetti bolognese. I'm going with my way. And if we all remember, who is the absolute worst cook in the world? Me. So next up, we're going to grease our pan, our frying pan. We're just going to put our mincemeat straight in. This one luckily doesn't have the paper thing at the bottom that I need to fish out. Going to turn on this side as well. Now different people like to use different things to cook with. Because I'm not the best cook, most of what I do comes back to tongs. And usually when I cook spaghetti, I like to have a spatula just in case. So I'm going to start breaking this mincemeat down. I'm 100% sure this is again too much mince for my purposes, but I thought it's good to show you what happens when we cook too much and how it can turn out. Okay, I'm going to rinse these off. So, we've got our spaghetti in one pan, we've got our mince in the other. Our mince pan is going to start to heat up and it's going to start to reduce the size of it. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to work out the best angle to show you, because our spaghetti is a little tall. I might increase the heat on our mincemeat just a little. This is still really cold, but it's a slow process now, guys. Once things start to cook, it can produce a bit of smoke. That's where we use our range hood. Being honest, this is taking a lot longer than I originally thought it would. What I might do so that we can see a bit of development, I might switch them around because the element on our water side is much bigger. In which case, I'm going to put this side. It should start to heat up our pan, our frying pan a bit quicker. Unfortunately, with this side of the cooking, it's a bit of a waiting game. Now I can start to see our mince starting to cook at the bottom. So with this, I'm going to sort of call an audible. I'm fairly certain that I put too much mince in straight away, so I'm going to pull some out, and between me and I, I'm probably going to end up throwing that bit out that I pulled out. Because once it's started to cook, it's not good to refreeze it. Starting to cook, you can see the cooking fumes coming up. It's just a matter of cooking it so that you can see the colour change and you can see the it shouldn't take too long to cook this. the way that I like to cook my meats when I'm preparing it for spaghetti dish, I like to use what's it called? A drainer. I like to drain the mince once it's cooked to get rid of some of the oils and whatnot, make it a little bit, heart friendly. So once it's cooked through, we'll have a look and see, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Guarantee there are, for those of you that are really good at cooking, you're complaining about how much meat I put in here. For those of you that are watching with your parents are complaining about how much meat I put in here, talking about how it's not going to turn out right, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. I might even pull another chunk out to help with the cooking process. Now, if I'm being honest, guys, if I would have done this the proper amount of meat, it would all be done by now. But because I did put too much in there, there are still bits that aren't cooking through. So normally this would be done by now. Our pasta water is just starting to heat up. Now I might be weird and I might be wrong, but I like to put just a little bit of salt in my pasta water. Now as we go through, I can't see any more pink bits. So I'm pretty certain that our meat is done. So for our meat, this is the tough part, guys. I'm going to try and spin you around to my drainer, my strainer. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to put my meat straight into my strainer. Shake. Now before we move on, so I'm going to grab a couple of mushrooms. Not too many. Just a couple. Now for a pizza, these mushrooms would be the right size. For our pasta, I'm just going to try and cut these into smaller chunks. If I'm being honest, guys, this would probably be a lot easier had I done it separately. I cut them with a knife prior to putting them in. I thought I'd be a bit lazy and it didn't really work in my favour. Now we can see our pasta is slowly starting to, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm trying to get it in there. It's starting to bend at the bottom because it's slowly starting to work its way down. And it's stuck out by a lot less. We're going to cook these mushrooms very quickly because they won't need very much time. So we're also going to be cooking the sauce. Right there, that's probably done. A little longer. Probably want to put a smooth more. Okay, we're going to cut those tomatoes there. I'll tip them straight into our drainer at our thing in it. Yeah, you can see the smoke coming up. That's why they tell you not to do this. I just find it's a little bit easier to keep everything clean. Shake that out. We're going to come back here. I'm going to move my spaghetti to this side, put that heat back up to 7, bring this one to 0 as I start to prepare everything over here. Now for our sauce, we're going to see if we can get away with 2, using 2 bottles of sauce. The worst part about the sauce is sometimes you can look really weak trying to open it. And sometimes you get it that first spin, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I'm sure that some people are noticing that some of the spaghetti is spilling everywhere. And from here, straight into the sauce, I'm going to tip in my meat and my mushrooms. Try to be a little bit careful so that it doesn't go everywhere. Check how my sauce to meat levels are. And as I look through, if I'm being honest guys, I've got way too much meat and not enough sauce. I'm probably going to have to put another packet in there, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to start adding a little bit more sauce. So I've got these sauce bottles turned upside down to try and get those last little bits to drip out, drip to the bottom. like a great balance. I'm going to use the same spoons to sort of try and get in here into the spaghetti and mix it up so that the top part starts to cook as well. Those little bits that were still hanging out. You can see that it started to cook all the way through. Come back to these bottles. Those bits out. Now, you guys might have noticed that I'm not wearing some of the things that we really should be wearing in the kitchen. I'm not wearing my apron, even though, as my students might know, I'm fairly on top of trying to make sure that you guys are wearing your aprons. Part of the reason is I'm at home, so if I get a bit dirty, it doesn't matter. Like if my clothes get a bit dirty, it is what it is. The other part is I don't have a really nice Malta apron like some of my students. Now, while that's cooking, I'm just going to rinse out my strainer very quickly. And give it a wipe down with some of my paper towels. While still keeping an eye on our stove top and seeing how all of that's progressing. Some of it's still a bit firm, so it does need to cook a little bit more. Our mozzarella sticks. So with these, if we look at the instruction, it says to place in the oven or you can deep fry them. I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat tactic. I'm going to use my handy dandy air fryer. Throw them in the air fryer for a bit. That I like to, the normal setup that I use for my air fryer, heat wise, it'll probably end up taking about 15 minutes for this to cook. So we might have to have a look at those separately. So now sauce up to 6 from 5. Okay guys, we might pause the video here and come back in once everything's ready to progress. Okay, so we're back. Our sauce is pretty much done. We're going to drain out our pasta. So to flick you back to the sink, going to safely grab my pot from the handles. I did have my headphones turned upside down, so I don't know if you heard that. I was saying it's time to safely drain the pasta, so I grabbed the pan from the handle. I checked them just that they weren't hot. For some pans that keep the handles nice and safe. So once I've gotten all my water out, I'm going to move my pasta into a serving bowl. So that my guests will be able to serve themselves. And we spin back to our sauce. I don't know if this bowl is going to be big enough, but we're going to try our best. Going to tip our sauce into our serving bowl. That's as much as we can safely fit in there. And if everyone heard that ding, it sounds like our mozzarella fingers are done. So I'm going to try and make a little bit of room. Grab this with my other hand and put my mozzarella fingers in another serving bowl. Now, serving bowls might not be something that we use regularly if we're living by ourselves and feeding just ourselves. But if we plan on having people over, if we plan on having our family over to eat, it's a nice thing to have so that we can organize a nice, classy meal. Okay. Bear with me, everybody. Sorry, I've got my workstation set up where I've got our food station set up. Boom. So, if we have a look, this is how we can set it up. You can decide however you want your meal area set up, because they're your guests that are coming over your house. You could then give everyone their own bowl with their own fork, their own utensils. But yeah, nice easy meal. So remember, our work for this lesson, you're to decide a meal that you're going to cook. Make a shopping list of all of the ingredients, write out your recipe, and then I want you to draw how you're going to have your table set up. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.